wabarakatuh. Thanks YB for this opportunity. Datuk KSU. IR Fathi from PINTARE, Persatuan Industri Tenaga Boleh Baru dan Alam Sekitar. We have a shy of 200 members, which is maybe like future employees for intern graduates, maybe. Okay, number one is thank you so much for NETR framework. It was a great framework, and we took it positively in our society association. But internally, we are managing between SME empowerment and also national agenda, which is happening downstream within our community, which is we want to empower the SME as well as help the government with the national agenda. And thank you so much also to emphasize on job opportunities which created by NETR framework as well. Okay, my question is, do the government, in this sense, MITI, is keen to share data center off-taker demand as it grows for RE developer as much as we do? Number two is the grid upgrade opportunity, as well as this is in particular with ASEAN chairmanship. Thank you for listening, and this should associate as well with ASEAN Power Grid narrative. Okay, thank you so much. Again, I'm IR Fathi from PINTARE. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. On the data center of T, when a company applies to operate a data center in Malaysia, usually they would have specified straight away their power mix. And that's usually where the haggling is. And that's the bit where, you know, NETR was extremely important because it's to facilitate all this. If we keep asking people to come to Malaysia, they require RE, and then there's no RE, then we have problems. So I think the offtake, the demand for RE is overwhelming. After CRESS, because we have debottleneck in terms of, I think in May 2023, as late as is 1.5 years ago, the cabinet approved the plan that we allow a willing seller and willing buyer. In the past, everything has to go through a certain quota by single buyer. You know? Now you can go directly, willing seller and willing buyer. Now a lot of the discussion and haggling is about the willing charges, because then it's a final tariff. You know? But as far as data center is concerned, I would imagine by now, as they plan to go into Malaysia, they would have decided their power mix. And they would, you know, they need to take from the grid for their base load, but they would have known what kind of capacity that they need from the RE, and they would have sourced it directly. It's just haggling between the corporate RE supplier to them, you know. So I think that's going to happen, and that's the intention of the whole, you know, policy. Of course, the challenge goes back to your second question. The reason why in the past single buyer has to set quota and so on is because investment into the grid. For us to match our RE ambition, the grid has to be upgraded, and at least we are looking at about 40-50 billion investments in the next 20 years. And that means that, you know, especially putting smart grid, putting battery storage and so on. Of course, you know, I take the view that 40+ billion investments is calculated today. And as we go along, smart grid will become better. Technology for battery storage will become better. The cost will be more competitive. So eventually, what is being discussed now at government, now that TMB has willing charges, because we allow willing seller and willing buyer, how to come up with a fair and equitable model so that the upgrade of grid can be done sustainably by the government and TMB, the nitty-gritty. There are 2-3 models available. First model is basically we allow TMB to do everything to upgrade the grid in order to meet our RE plan. That means that TMB has to invest in smart grid and battery every year, then socialize all the costs through tariff, which, you know, I mean, I have a slight difficulty with that, you know, because the public will feel like, you know, why should we pay? Of course, even the tariff, you can differentiate the tariff. In fact, the tariff now has already been differentiated. The tariff to industry is very different than the tariff to household. So that's already been differentiated. So there are ways to socialize through the differentiated tariff. The other model is a hybrid. That means that government every year needs to allocate a certain budget in order to upgrade. And then this will be offset in terms of tariff calculation and so on. So you don't need to socialize the tariff, the grid upgrade, because government takes up the cost from the very beginning. But of course, we have to see our cash flow, our fiscal capability, and so on. That process is already ongoing as well. Then the tariff discussion is happening because is IBR now is IBR 3, 4. It's going to IBR 5. No, 3. Yeah, the third IBR now is going to end by 2025. So the new negotiation for the next IBR is a tariff. The next negotiation for the next IBR 2026 onwards is happening, and I think these are part and parcel of NETR, and also so the discussion is ongoing, negotiation is ongoing between government and TMB, but the grid will have to be upgraded. Otherwise, you know, we will become one experience was Vietnam. There was a lot of take-up for downstream supply, so there was a lot of solar farms, but the grid was not ready because the grid was not upgraded enough, and therefore, you know, all those capacity could not be supplied to the grid, and there is a mismatch at some point in Vietnam. We've learned from that lesson. We want to make sure that the tariff and everything is all encompassing. Of course, the tricky bit is the dollars and cents, the nitty-gritty, to make sure that only those who really benefit out of this actually pays, and try not to socialize any cost from this.